Hey everybody, this is Digital Frickin' Worship. Let me turn my fan off. My first crush, Disney crush, was Tinkerbell. I could have swore when I was like 5, she like flew in my, well, she flew in my room and then she flew out in the living room and I followed her around the house. I don't know if I was on drugs or something. I was like 5 or 6, but for the longest time I tried convincing people like, no, I did see Tinkerbell that night. I didn't see Tinkerbell. I don't know what happened. I don't know what was wrong with me. But I'm gonna talk about something. This is completely unrelated to this channel, but I kind of don't care that much. Your girl checked it out and everyone's hating on it, and I can agree. I can totally agree what people were talking about. Like, let's touch base about like woke Disney for a second. We have The Little Mermaid coming out, and then we had Strange World. I think Strange World was like the first like hint of like, okay, like Disney's like losing their marbles right now because this is getting like too woke. I actually love Strange World. I feel like it would have been better as a DreamWorks film, not so much Disney. Let's think about the demographic that reaches Disney. I'm not gonna say anything, but if you know that you know what I'm getting at. I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay. Do I agree with the casting? No. When I saw the trailer, I was like, that's not my Tinkerbell. She was cute. She was beautiful. The actor is beautiful, but I had a crush on the blonde Tinkerbell, so like my bias was pressed. I hated the trailer. It just felt so dramatic, like it was some type of like action movie, like it's giving Fast and Furious meets Peter Pan. I thought Peter was interesting. I didn't have much of a, I couldn't gauge anything about him yet until I watched the film. Wendy, let's get into it. So lately in like movies, it's been like this whole thing with like women empowerment, which is nothing wrong with that. This is great. Seems like a lot of movies are really pushing it, even in places where it's not too necessary to do that. I'm watching a kid's film about people going to Neverland. I don't think we need to focus on politics right now, but that's just my opinion. So the beginning of the movie, I loved Peter Pan. I thought he was like a perfect Peter Pan. Like he was confident. He had that same snarky, like I know it all. Like I just wish he had more lines, especially in the beginning. I thought he was hilarious. Wendy, I didn't fully agree with at first because I was just like, and she always had this like weird facial expression over every tiny little thing. She'd be like I can't even like do it, but she was like every like 3 seconds. I actually liked the casting for Michael and John. I thought Michael was spot on. He was adorable. John makes sense. Let's get over my opinions about the casting. Let's talk about the actual film. Now, I respect it in terms of like it being a version of Peter Pan, and I liked the direction they were going. It had a lot of references to the original film that made sense. Like when Wendy was like, oh, this is what a kiss is, and it's like that weird, like, you guys know what I'm talking about, that weird like pen thing. That made sense. What I didn't like so much, Wendy kind of gave a little bit of overacting, and like, listen, I used to be in theater and my theater teachers used to always say it's better to overact than underact, but it's really cringe when it's in a movie. So the reason I already had like a very, I wasn't totally confident in Wendy, like the casting for her anyways, because she's a Nepo baby. She's a Nepo baby. I forgot who's her parents are, but like, it just felt like she just kind of got the role because she knew people. Anyway, you guys remember the scene where she was like coming out of the big London clock, the grand clock thing? It's like they were on like an acid trip. It didn't really make any sense. I understand it was probably hard to translate the animated version to the physical version. I get it. It sounds complicated, but they just made it seem so weird. It was like oddly timed. It was just weird, you guys. Can we talk about Tinkerbell's CGI for a second? CGI was freaking terrible, but you kind of get over that because she's so beautiful. It's like, it's fine. I think it was a little bit weird seeing like the mermaids were hardly featured in it, but they were like these weird like octopus looking like on some Harry Potter shit. Like, they were just like so weird looking. So the beginning was interesting where they had, you know, Captain Hook and all that other stuff. I absolutely adored Tiger Lily. I thought she was so hot. She's so gorgeous. I think they did an excellent job getting rid of like the Native American scenes, because I mean, if you look on Disney Plus, and I'm so glad they did this, they made a disclaimer if you watch the original Peter Pan on Disney Plus, where they talk about like the history of like Native American like trauma, and I'm glad they did that, because like, can you imagine if they added that in? And it's already supposed to be like a woke. Can you imagine? I can't say it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good, and it didn't necessarily fix the original Peter Pan, but it's something I wouldn't mind playing if I had kids and they were just in the back. I wouldn't mind if they watched it. I mean, whatever. It's like a little adventure movie. What got me in the nostalgia, what kind of pissed me off, like to the core, she didn't sing My Mother, Your Mother and Mine. That was it. Like, I was patient the entire film. I was like, okay, that's not so bad. I'll give excuses for that. And listen, other YouTubers are going ham at this film, okay, but this was my breaking point. She didn't sing that song. You know, I used to be in the in middle school. I was in Peter Pan, okay? I played a little pirate. I was Pirate Cookson. I wish I had a picture, but I don't. One of the best parts of the play, and I believe in the movie, which is singing Your Mother and Mine, because the entire concept was kind of talking about, you know, it's okay to grow up and having a mother, and then Wendy representing that mother figure. I don't know what song she was singing. I don't know if it has something to do with woke culture. She couldn't sing that song because maybe some people have like two dads or something. I don't know, but still, it doesn't matter. This isn't a political movie. It's Peter Pan. Captain Hook was great, just not the actor was fine, but it wasn't his range. I feel like they could have made Captain Hook a bit more whimsical. It was strange seeing Peter and Wendy and them flying to Neverland, and then you just see these like grown ass men like losing their ish over this like 12-year-old boy. Like, it worked in the movie because it's a cartoon, it's whimsical. But seeing like some Pirates of the Caribbean aesthetic like boat with these like weird older ass like men like freaking out over these children, it's weird. And like the way they kind of like did the whole like Wendy's like, oh, you can't hurt a gentleman in London, don't want to basically abduct and kill children. Like, that was freaking awkward. Like, what the hell was that all about? I kind of liked how Peter was kind of like, he had some sass to him. I forgot what he said. What did he say? Something about like, I want to be Peter Pan, I'd rather only be Peter. He said something like that, but he had some sass, honey, and I loved it. I ate it up. It was great. The colors could have been a little bit brighter, but then again, it's hard to say these things because it's just like how Tim Burton made his reenactments of Alice in Wonderland. I mean, people expected that movie to be super bright and colorful, but it was an adaptation from a different director, so you can't really complain. But since this is supposed to be Disney's representation of its own original film, I don't have a lot of excuses for it. I don't think anyone does. It was a bit too dramatic, and it could have had more color, and like the whole thing with like the Lost Boys, where they were overacting. You know, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, when she was like, you guys are not all boys, and they're like, so like, I didn't mind that, because I'm like, okay, we're allowing kids to like be who they are and have their own identity. Like, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Until I read that the original Peter Pan in the book, the reason why it was written that they're lost boys is because girls are too smart to get lost. And like, if we're gonna try and make something that emulates the original Disney version of that story, there ain't nothing wrong with just sticking to the Lost Boys. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna get offended. I have never watched Peter Pan, and I don't know anyone who watched Peter Pan that got offended over the Lost Boys being boys. And the Native American part, I get it. That was totally, why would they do that? But like, no one cared about them being Lost Boys. If you want me to be honest, if you want me to be 1000% honest here, I didn't finish the movie. And you want to know why? I got bored. actually fell asleep. I mean, I got to the ending. I got a little bit after. I think I got to the point where they're on the pirate ship and they're having the big fight. A little bit after the pirates found them at the, well, found the Lost Boys and Michael and them at like the little hot spot, the little thing that they stayed at, whatever the hell it's called. After she got in a little argument with Peter Pan about like, you know, the thing is, I didn't feel Neverland was Neverland. If they were gonna take any real life inspiration of a Neverland, they should have maybe took some inspiration from Neverland Ranch, the place that Michael Jackson owned. Like, that would have been a great real life adaptation inspiration. I feel like it was just grass. It was just grass. It kind of reminded me of the back rooms. Like, I'll try to like put a picture of what I'm talking about. Overall, because I'm a nice person, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. But my critical side, my nostalgic, it's giving like a 3. And it feels rushed. It feels cash grabby. But you guys, if you're mad that I said 7 out of 10, you gotta think about the demographic. Who are they making this movie to? And we don't understand the overall new agenda, because I know like Disney's got some staff changes going on. Who they're marketing to, because yes, there's such thing as Disney adults, but like who's gonna bring in the money? I mean, it is adults now because it's nostalgia, but I think they're trying to go for this generation. And I know that's a tough pill to freaking swallow, but it is what it is. I mean, it's for my future kids, or for your future kids if you're younger. I mean, they might like it. You may not like it that much, but like, there's kids out there that like it. Ariel was another one of my crushes as a kid when they redid The Little Mermaid. And I realized a lot of young girls were very happy with that representation. I love the diversity. And we have to think about Peter Pan and its originality. It worked for its time. We're very used to a narrative of Disney that's from like the 30s or something. I don't know when I think it was like the 30s when it came out. We're in 2023. Don't get mad at me in the comments. Do I agree with this adaptation? Not so much. Would I prefer this version? No, I hated the trailer and I fell asleep watching the movie. Until I have like a young niece around or a kid and they watch this movie and they like it, I don't know. I don't really know who it's for. I know like a lot of companies are profiting off of like nostalgia right now. There's also the argument maybe Disney's trying to just continue on its legacy. I don't know. I don't like editing footage that's past like 15 minutes, so I'm gonna go. Hopefully I'll get this video up. If you like this video, want me to review more movies, let me know, leave me a comment, give this video a like. Yes, please do, because the YouTube algorithm hates anything that's not a short right now, so. Almost at 100 subscribers, so it would be very helpful if you subscribed, and I'm gonna go. Bye.